Welcome into this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. We have the latest roster updates for your Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to catch you up on everything you need to know of the moves that have been made since the start of training camp. And I know that a lot of you, most of you already know some of these moves that have occurred. And I want to do a bit of a recap of everything Brett Veach and company has been up to since the start of training camp. But what we're also going to do is we're going to show you these new moves that have occurred within the last 24 hours and break those down for you as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start with the first move that began training camp, and that was the extension of George Karlaftis that occurred early last week. Karlaftis now on the books for the next 6 seasons with Kansas City, and we also got some more contract details on that today. It is looking more and more team-friendly for the Chiefs of what they were able to get done with Karlaftis. Now we wait on Trent McDuffie to get a deal as well. Omarr Norman-Lott, the second-round rookie, he was signed. Remember, there was a big holdout when it came to second-round picks trying to get guaranteed money. They got that deal done. Hal Presley at the wide receiver position was signed. And then Kristian Fulton was put on the PUP list. Spags was asked about Fulton this past week. And what Spags basically said was that, hey, we're excited when Kristian Fulton finally gets healthy, when he gets on the football field, but this isn't going to be an easy transition, that he's got a lot to pick up on, that he's going to be coming in a bit behind, playing catch-up compared to everybody else, that this defense isn't easy, but they expect him to compete for one of those starting outside corner roles. Then you had Jawaan Taylor get activated, and he's been splitting first-team reps at the right tackle position with Jalen Moore at this point, trying to hold down his job there with some competition. Trey Watson was activated as well at the tight end position. And now that we've got you up to speed, let's go over the new information that we have for you. As Eddie Czaplicki was released at the punter position, he was brought in initially to compete with Matt Araiza for that starting punter role. And I never really thought this was actually going to be much of a competition. I know Eddie was really good at USC. He was thought to be one of the best UDFA punters out there. And if they were to go with Eddie, that would have saved a little bit of money against the cap had they moved on from Matt Araiza. But ultimately, they feel comfortable enough a week or so into training camp to go ahead and go forward with Araiza there. And then the newest member of the Kansas City Chiefs is none other than former Kansas Jayhawk Kwamie Lassiter II. Also spent some time with the Cincinnati Bengals and in the UFL. We'll tell you more about Lassiter coming up in just a bit. He was one of 5 players that worked out for Kansas City on Wednesday. Those other individuals include wide receiver Kawan Baker, a Johnny Carter at the corner position, another corner, Harrison Hand, and Azizi Hearn at the corner position as well. So they worked out 2 receivers and 3 corners in total, and ended up signing Lassiter. Maybe there could be more on the way, but at least for now, Lassiter gets that roster spot. Now, as far as Eddie goes getting released, I never really was convinced that Araiza was in that much danger at this point. I think Araiza is a terrific punter. He's got one of, if not the strongest legs in the NFL. He just needs to work on a few things. Touchbacks and pinning teams inside the 20. If he can kind of clean that up a bit, he's going to be just fine. And I think this special teams unit with Harrison Butker and James Winchester is going to be in really good shape. Lassiter is a fascinating move. This is somebody that I watched very closely at the University of Kansas, and he was a solid receiver. He's got some good speed that he brings to the table. He can also help out in special teams. We'll talk more about Lassiter coming up in a little while from right now. My overall grade, all of these moves that have occurred in training camp, is an A. And the biggest reason why is just getting Karlaftis locked up here. Sure, you had the other things that went on, but just starting with Karlaftis and getting that taken care of, 6 years in a team-friendly deal, Veach doesn't miss. I mean, he is one of the very best for a reason. And what he's been able to do with some of these long-term contracts, when you talk about him and Patrick Mahomes and Chris Jones and among others here, he's a magician. He works some magic, and I thought he did a terrific job with that. How would you grade the Chiefs roster moves of everything they've done so far in training camp to this point? Whip out your red pen. Let us know A, B, C, D, or F. I went with an A. What do you guys got? Give us your grade in the comments section below. I got a goal, folks. I want to see if we can get the 73,000 subscribers here at the Kansas City Chiefs Report prior to the very first preseason game. We are just over 200 subs away from reaching that next milestone. We're going to be live for that Chiefs preseason opener against the Arizona Cardinals, as well as almost every game this season here on the channel. We'll continue bringing you news and rumors, live shows each and every Tuesday, breaking news, Q&A mailbags, and more right here on your one-stop shop for all things Kansas City Chiefs. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Now, with the signing of Kwamie Lassiter, it makes sense because you got Xavier Worthy in concussion protocol. We've talked about that this week. You got Hollywood Brown dealing with an ankle injury. And then Sky Moore has a hamstring issue. All those guys are banged up. You're short 3 receivers right now. Now, you should get those guys back pretty soon, but you need more bodies in there. And adding another wide receiver, I know they looked at wide out and they looked at corner in these workouts, but at least for right now anyway, wide receiver is a bit more of a need than the corner spot is. It makes much more sense right now for that 90th spot to go to a wide out like Kwamie Lassiter here. James Larson of Pro Football Network putting this tweet out in regards to the signing of Lassiter, saying, breaking, the Kansas City Chiefs are signing USFL Showboats wide receiver Kwamie Lassiter II following his workout today per league source. Lassiter spent this past season in the UFL with Memphis, totaling 257 yards and a touchdown. Speedy slot wide receiver previously with the Bengals. Now, your fearless leader, I am very familiar with Kwamie Lassiter. I covered his entire career at the University of Kansas when he was there. And I'll put it this way. Those were not fun years. He was not a part of the Lance Leipold era. He had to deal with guys like David Beatty and Les Miles, and he was one of the few bright spots for Kansas football in that stretch, as he was a very reliable receiver. He went undrafted in 2022 out of KU, spent some time with the Bengals, then went to the UFL to play for the Memphis Showboats. And his short time with the Bengals, he's played in 2 career games, no starts, a very limited experience in the NFL side of things. But his college stats weren't too shabby, as he put up in 48 career games played 148 catches, over 1,500 yards, 10.5 yards of reception, and 7 touchdowns there at KU with the Jayhawks. And he was somebody that was counted upon a lot. He was very available, did not really struggle with injuries, and was one of the few bright spots for this team. I was a fan of Kwamie Lassiter, and I'm excited as a Jayhawk to see him get this opportunity right here in Kansas City, just down the road from Lawrence here, to get to suit up and see if he can make the team for KU. We'll go over a scouting report here in just a moment, but want to hear from you guys. Prediction time. Will Kwamie Lassiter II make the Chiefs' 53-man roster? You got 2 options here. Type Y for yes, in for no. Weigh in the comments section. Tell me what you think. Folks, we got a great deal for you right now. You see this Chiefs cutoff hoodie? It looks fantastic, and it's on sale. At one point in time, it was $55, but we said, you know what? We need to give the Chiefs Kingdom a deal. So we're able to lower this thing down to $33, and you can get it right now at chatsports.com/Chiefs sale. We have all sorts of different shapes and sizes available for you. I know it's a little hot outside, but it is a short sleeve, and if you need to put it in the closet for a bit, you'll be thanking yourself later when you can wear this thing. We also have other Chiefs merchandise at that same link for you as well. Go see for yourself now, chatsports.com/Chiefs sale to get yours today. Link is in the comments and description of today's video. The scouting report on Kwamie Lassiter. He's got average size. He does sell his routes very, very well. He's a hand extender, okay? I mean, he's putting them all out there to do whatever it takes to haul in those passes. He uses his frame. Even though he's got average size, he still gets the most out of his body of what he has to offer there. He's not really a factor in the red zone, though. That's kind of a big negative with him, as he is more of a possession and slot guy in that sense. And for Lassiter, he does have special teams experience, so that'll be something to monitor potentially. I think that's probably his best path to making the 53-man roster is through the special team side of things, especially with competing with guys like Sky Moore and others, trying to stand out a little bit. You got to show that you can do more than just be a receiver if you're going to be getting that 6th or 7th receiver spot. Put him on special teams and show off what he could potentially do there. In all likelihood, he's probably just a camp body at this point, but let's see what he does with this opportunity here with with training camp going on and the preseason starting next week. We've seen crazier things happen before, so I wouldn't completely rule it out, but I would say the odds are pretty slim at this point of him making the 53-man roster. For continuing Chiefs coverage, subscribe now to the Kansas City Chiefs Report for free. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.